Hello， 大家好，我是LeLeFarley，不好意思，也迟到了一些。刚才我在外面跑步，然后我就迷路了。这个灯是有点差，不好意思，没办法，只能这样。这周因为我是在搬家嘛，所以我们这次只能凑合。我只能凑合，我希望大家能谅解啊。我先发 YouTube 提醒一下大家。开始 ，OK， 没办法了。对，我在华盛顿，我在美国的首都。因为关注我很久的朋友们都知道。So English is going to start at 11. English is going to start in an hour. 英文有1个小时我们才会开始。现在是中文 ，Right now is Chinese. For those of you that still don't know. 我现在在华盛顿，美国的首都。然后我刚才在外面跑步，跑着，然后就有点迷路，然后就回来的时候就迟到了一些，希望大家能谅解。Sorry, you're late. Ron GG, thank you. I know. Yes, 我现在还没有完全搬家，我现在是在搬家的过程当中。我是打算要搬到华盛顿。关注我很久的朋友们都知道，在大选期间。我还告诉大家，我许诺了大家说，拜登如果对共产党的政策不够强硬什么的，我许诺我会搬家，我会搬到华盛顿，然后天天上街去抗议。你看，不要看乐乐说什么，要看他做什么。现在我就要行动，现在我就要搬到这里来。DC 我不要竞选。主要是我会跟这边的一些人合作。除了这个之外，我还会做 YouTube， 我还会继续做自媒体。而且我觉得我的脱口秀，其实华盛顿的观众会更加喜欢我那些段子，因为段子不是跟中文学习有关系，那就是跟政治有关系，尤其是中国政治。而洛杉矶观众他们对于中国的政治，甚至对于中国了解的其实挺浅，不是很深刻，不像华盛顿的这个观众。华盛顿的观众还挺，他们就对于政治、国际贸易什么的，他们的这个关注度应该是美国全国第一，最高的。Thank you, handsome. I'm a misogynist. How can I stop hating on women, please? My Mandarin sucks, but I'm here for all the times, Master Chief. 欢迎你，真爷们儿。谢谢大家。It's fantastic to move. Went to see Ali Wong yesterday. Yeah, Ali Wong 其实可能对于脱口秀不是很熟的朋友们不知道，但 Ali Wong 是一个华裔女性演员，女性脱口秀演员。然后她其实挺厉害。我说实在的，一个女生要做脱口秀很难，远远比男人要难很多。为什么呢？是因为他们得把握一种分寸，就是你要好看，要性感，但是并不能过度，就不能太性感。你要有一点黄，但也不能太黄。你要自嘲，因为就特别难，他们要把握一种分寸，我也是很难以理解。但是以前有一些社会学家，写过文章，就钻研这个话题。而且以前也有一个像我们刚才那位朋友的 misogynist， 有一个人写过一篇文章，应该是《纽约时报》吧，《华尔街时报》报道的，讲为什么女生不好笑。这不是我的意见，我只是给你们讲，这个脱口秀界确实存在这个男女比例失调，严重失调这么的一个现象。我也发推吧，我把这个发到推特 ，OK， 直播 ，OK， 太不够专业 ，OK 哈，发的推 OMG, I love Ali Wong. Yeah, Ali Wong. 所以刚才长话短说 ，Ali Wong 其实我觉得是很难得真正搞笑的女性脱口秀演员。除了她之外，好像只有另外一个，我是真心觉得好笑，就是我是真心欣赏，那就是Nikki Glaser。Nikki Glaser 也挺好 ，Nikki Glaser 很好笑。Oh, nice. I'm glad to hear that. What's up, JB Monster? 你好 Master Chief. I appreciate and power nap and known as time for boring speeches. Thanks for the advice. Simply stop hating women. Yeah, you could also just stop hating. I don't think he actually does. 乐最近看脱口秀大会了吗 ？Actually, I have. 我有看。你们有没有关注最近这一季脱口秀大会？他们的一位评委，难道不是下一个就是现在这个新一波要去和谐，就是社会主义的这个铁拳，不是要打击的对方吗？脱口秀大会上边的一个评委，我忘了他叫什么，就是戴着眼镜那个胖胖子。反正这一季脱口秀大会我觉得还行，还不错。有一些讲的挺好笑，但是我最受不了的是中国综艺节目为什么非得比赛，为什么非得竞争，为什么他们非得比赛？就我记得很清楚，中国有嘻哈，中国新说唱，他们不是有那个押韵指标吗？那个押韵指标，然后这是单押，这是双押，三押、四押，然后这个显得好像四押要比双押更好更厉害，因为未必如此，并不是非黑即白都可以拿着这套应试教育那套去判断说唱啊或者脱口秀它的质量怎么样，它是艺术，所以很难以一个非黑即白的这种标准去判断。但是最近脱口秀大会我是在看。我觉得那个我忘了他来自哪儿啊？他老自嘲，他老拿自己的长相来开玩笑，他的那个口音我不知道是哪里的，但是他挺好笑，他那个脸的表情能力我觉得很强。其实中国脱口秀演员他们最缺乏的是什么呢？表演能力，就他们会讲一个 premise， 就一个立场，然后他们会对此立场表态，然后按照传统的这个脱口秀技巧来说，他们下一个阶段或者他们接着就应该进入到这个表演的部分，对吧？就是你比如说你刚才说你觉得外国人或者中国人，我老举的例子是你可以说中国人很擅长数学，但是你的表态是我觉得他们并不是很擅长数学，我觉得外国人只是很差，就对于数学就是很差，然后你就可以表演外国人学数学的这个困扰，这就是叫表演的部分。这个是我看到中国脱口秀演员最缺乏的一个部分，他们就不敢做，我不知道为什么。毛主席Ali Wong looks too much like my ex. It hurts to hear, but I still. Wow, Darwin， 那你的前任应该……其实 Ali Wong 我觉得莫名其妙的性感。我有一次在线下脱口秀就看到他好像只有我腰高，他身高他特别矮，非常矮。Join the oh yes, Lightseeker, hello and thank you。对，LeLeFarley频道是全靠 patrons and members 支撑的支持，所以我们才能继续发东西，继续拍内容。其实最难的是我要在华盛顿找一个新的摄影师。你想啊，以前我的老朋友 Inti 不在了，人不在了，好难受。我要找一个新的维吾尔族什么时候在西里的表演脱口秀啊？要去，到时候我肯定会通告大家。将来我不仅仅要在华盛顿做这个英文的脱口秀，但是我也是希望可以 多做一些中文的脱口秀。那这个有可能是要等到我开始接一些主持的工作，才有这个机会，才能有机会用中文去讲脱口秀。但我确实，最近在亚特兰大的那段时间，就趁机跟我那个写作的伙伴一起写中文脱口秀的一个初稿。但是我中文脱口秀肯定会跟英文完全不一样了。前提啊，对 ，premise is 前提。You can only force choke with even the Sith finds 习主席 way too evil and powerful than they wouldn't like 习主席。习主席不行，他的 Sith would not. He's not even force sensitive. Xi Jinping is too fucking dumb. 山东哦呀，他是老山东，对，就是罗胖子是他吗？对，山东。中国共产党刚刚打什么中国国内的粉红经验，你有什么看法？你们如果要问我问题的话，最好要用简体，艺术不能比赛是对的，但是不比就没人看了。ACBC 它这个是对的，这个是为什么他们中国搞综艺，要么是搞这个说唱，要么是搞脱口秀。非得比赛，因为中国有嘻哈，中国新说唱，并不是给像我这样就是真正喜欢脱口秀，真正喜欢说唱的观众做的，它是要大众化，它是要讨好最大的群体，那就是要比赛，要给他们一个非常轻易了解、非常容易了解的一个标准，他们才会看。但是我觉得这样就不太纯洁，我这么说是不是有点装逼？你怎么看李雪琴？我是李雪琴，我觉得她挺好，我觉得她很好啊。她是不是跟那个来自东北的男生谈恋爱了？他们后来就是不是真正开始谈恋爱？乐上次在 TikTok 上卤包的视频，现在怎么了？被删？限流了，限流。这个我不知道大家有没有看到那个视频，是我和习主席在跳舞，我在和习主席跳舞，然后那个视频就是限流。其实我要在华盛顿，我还希望我可以找一些其他人，就是可以跟我合作，就比如说我想找一个剪辑师，可以帮我把以前的很多视频的片段剪成符合 TikTok 形式还有风格的一个版本，因为它首先是纵着，不是横着，对吧？第一，第二，它有1分钟的这个长度限制，但是我确实觉得我肯定会有一些视频是可以把它们剪成就这种1分钟之内的那个样子，然后在 TikTok 也许可以吸取一些更新的粉丝，或者说可以展开另外一个市场。但是说实在的，我自己是完全受不了，我不能玩 TikTok， 我觉得有毒，我觉得这玩意儿就简直是跟毒品没有什么两样的。我自己是玩，我就不想玩，所以我要雇佣一个人可以帮我，也许是一个实习生。可以帮我 as large 我要找一个新的维吾尔族的摄影师。中国是你爹我爹吗？你说我爹吗？乐看中国好声音吗？我不看，无聊，我觉得太无聊。中国好声音最好的一次，历史上最好的一次演出，那就是 Guy， 在他变成社会 Guy 之前。Why do you have a picture of Biden holding a folder with a Chinese flag? 因为我们可以一会儿可以继续聊拜登，如果大家要的话，但是我不知道要聊啥呢，不太了解说唱，想知道 MC Jin 真的很厉害吗？ MC Jin 的厉害其实在于他的 freestyle 即兴发挥。我小的时候好久以前我小的时候 MTV 它是电视台 就是收视率肯定是最高的，而且是年轻人最喜欢的。MTV 它是 Music Television 的缩写 ，MTV 它每周五晚上都会有一个节目叫 Freestyle Friday， 即兴 Freestyle 周五晚上，然后他请来的绝大多数的说唱歌手们，都是黑人，然后好像白人特别少，更不用说亚洲人。但是 MC Jin 经常会去，而且他不仅仅会去，他肯定是最厉害的。而且 freestyle 和就是正式说唱，它真的是两个不同的技能，它是两个不同的技巧。就一个 freestyle 很牛逼的人不一定 rap 很厉害，而且 rap 就正式 rap 的人也不一定能够 freestyle。就比如说我自己是没法，我 freestyle 能力很差。但是 MC Jin 他的这个即兴发挥表现能力还挺强，而且也能在一个基本上没有亚洲人这样的一个领域这么成功，我是不得不佩服。但是呢，他也是不是比较喜欢人民币？人家是不是也比较喜欢向共产党跪下？那如果你向共产党跪下的话，我还能佩服呢？我还能 respect 瑞斯拜你吗？我还能瑞斯拜你吗？你对共产党这么邪恶的一个组织跪下的话，我还能 respect you 吗？我问你们 ，What do you guys think? What do you guys think? 我个人觉得很难啊。风靡第一首嘻哈歌曲，就第一首能够风靡美国全国的嘻哈歌曲，叫 Fuck the Police。OK， 说唱是从叛逆诞生出来的，所以你对像共产党这样的一个政府跪下的话，这个本身就不 hip hop， 这个本身有问题，东施效颦。You know, China Bill Chinese. Do you have a girlfriend, Lila? Hold on, is this really China Bill? 真的是你吗？这是真正的 China Bill 吗？如果真的是你的话，我建议你要等到你肉身翻墙才说真话。共产党现在，或者说这个中国墙内最受不了的是说真话的人。我知道你有这个想讲真话的欲望，但是我是真希望你可以先肉身翻墙，再站起来，再说，再发言。我觉得如果你申请到但是你先得到另外一个国家，你才能申请到政治庇护。但是I hope you really can, dude. Do you have a girlfriend? No. 单身 fucking super 单身 Kamala Harris went to Vietnam and told them we won't do anything to China. Is that what she said? Are you sure about that? No respect for the chills. 我觉得不必过度分析中共最近的各种打压政策，可能纯粹是习近平发疯了，就像当年的毛。这个很有意思，大家怎么看最近这个赵薇、高晓松还有叫什么郑涵或者那些垃圾演员，我忘了叫什么名字，票房都很高的。因为你们怎么看赵薇这件事儿？就比如说赵薇，我估计赵薇只不过是牺牲品，这是我瞎猜的。然后赵薇应该是因为喜欢马云，或者是跟马云是早有一腿，然后马云应该是属于江派江泽民的人吧， 所以这就是应该赵薇应该是这个内斗的一个牺牲品，我瞎猜的，你们怎么看？这个不容易 ，It's tough. When does the English section start? 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, my friend. 11 o'clock, China Bill. Yeah, is it really China Bill? I hope he's safe, dude. You gotta get safe. You know, 如果你在墙内开始发言的话，你很快就会被抓，就不值得。你先努力的给自己找出路，再发言，再站起来，再开始。Hello from Chonglang TV. Hello, 神友，工作日加班照样没加班费。对，这个是你是在说啥？对，996本来就违法，就算宣布违法，其实996我知道很辛苦，但是我不得不告诉大家，我有一些从事金融的朋友们，他们是在华尔街工作，或者在纽约一些金融的那些大公司工作，尤其是第一和第二年，他们平均来讲每一周都是就是上班的时间是上百个小时，有100多个小时一个星期，所以996那是等于那等于12 times 6 is 72，那是72个小时。但是你知道我那些从事金融的朋友们，他们那个薪水是相应的，就他们那个报酬很不错。所以我估计那些996是因为他们没有拿到这个加班费，但是还得加班。在中国你进组的话，在中国影视行业，因为它没有这个工会的保障，所以你要进组的话，他们也你多辛苦啊！哎，多拍几条啊！我们很快就 over 了，一会儿就结束了，马上这个词到底是多久？马上多辛苦啊！辛苦你了哦！如果真的辛苦我的话，能不能给我加班费？不能，爆疯了！不知道明后年能不能办护照？我打算卖房子离开中共国，这个是一个很好的想法。Yo, my man， 维尼熊最近全方位加速 pedal to the metal， 我好爽啊！ Yeah, dude, I mean， 中国最近真的疯了。他们说要开始收拾中国的私人企业啊，这个习近平的这个愚蠢是真的不能低估。我战友也跟我价值观一样，的确如此。乐乐期待，我操！谢谢你 F3D， 谢谢你打赏。乐乐法力频道全靠你们的打赏、会员们的支持，还有 Patron 们的支持，谢谢你。我下一首 MV，是要在华盛顿拍的，但是我在洛杉矶都有人了，我有一个团队。那在华盛顿，我得从零开始，我得重新找一个摄影师啊，自己喜欢的一个摄影师，甚至一些群众演员。就我那些好哥们儿们，他们现在都在洛杉矶，哎，他们挺有意思。Communist rap is dope, man. 谢谢你 ，Thank you very much. 我志在也叫乐乐 ，Go Go Go， 冲浪，矮大金刚。这你们怎么看这个马云的成功？就依托于中国这个国家垄断机制，所以他其实也不想跑掉。其实那个马云，还有高晓松、赵薇、吴亦凡，我都不会同情他们。我他妈2018年就撤了，就跳船了。就看中国的这个大局势，然后就走了。 尤其像高晓松和吴亦凡，你他妈不是中国人，他们是有美国的护照、加拿大的护照，那你想留在那儿多赚一点钱，后来就被抓了，自食其果 ，That's your fucking fault。尤其像高晓松高晓松他在做那个《日人民报》直播的时候翻车，光靠那一次那个事件，他就应该知道要赶快离开中国，赶快跑回美国来。结果人家还留在那儿，为什么呢？市场，人民币太好赚，对不对？所以现在他们就是终于变成了这个社会主义中国特色社会主义铁拳的打击对象，我一点儿都不同情你，我没有任何同情心。It's your fucking fault. You blew it. 那就中国是没有工会吧 F3D, thank you very much. I appreciate that. 他们确实不太值得同情。Right, Karma, Lur, 啥时候来指导我们？我没有什么指导能力。我玩自媒体，可能是华语自媒体的一个特例。我不是在追求别人崇拜我，我会觉得那样的感受很奇怪。乐乐，我护照到2027年过期，现在手里十几万人民币能跑出去吗？一直在学习英语，但是最多只能正常沟通。如果你不是在那个环境的话，你的外语能力，就算你再努力的话，它也不能太好，也不会提高，而且它这个提高的速度不会很快。最好是你可以先跑到国外，然后你的英语能力会突飞猛进。尤其如果你是一个好看的女生，因为会有很多男人追你。如果你是一个长得挺帅的男生，也会有，但是我都知道，你只要是女生的话这男人都会疯狂的要帮你学习什么的。有十几万人民币，你能跑出去吗？我觉得这个取决于你要到哪儿，你先要到哪儿去。所以我有个朋友，他是通过与美国的这个叫家庭寄宿家庭，然后他回来当他们的保姆，帮他们照顾孩子。他是通过这个办法来到美国，然后他会以这个办法在这儿留几年，然后那几年当中，也许他会申请政治庇护，但是申请政治庇护的人数越来越高，所以越来越竞争越来越激烈，所以这个办法可能会很难。但如果你要去其他的国家，就比如说泰国，然后要留在泰国一段时间，然后可以通过泰国就移民到另外一个国家，那再移民到西方的国家的话，我觉得你光靠这个十几万人民币是有戏的，你有希望。但是你用直接移民到美国来嘛，那就很难了。尤其是现在，中国这个出路越来越少，但是所以出去的话是很着急，要赶快的出去。只是你要问自己，去你妈了个逼中共！太喜欢这个名字。你要问自己的是，你愿意就为了出去，你愿意承受或者说生活在什么样的条件？你有什么样的条件？就你如果住在像泰国的话，你愿意吗？我不知道为什么我就是很偶然的提到了泰国，不一定是泰国，可能是有一些其他的国家。换成是我的话，我肯定会去研究这个问题。你就去 Google， 不要百度，你就 Google， 就光靠 十几万人民币要离开这个国家，现在有什么办法？这就不一样了，这就不容易了。跑不出来的中国人，怎么不为改变呢？国家做一点事儿，shut the fuck up 跑不出来的中国人怎么不为改变自己的国家？因为你在中国没法改变，共产党不让你改变。这条留言太傻逼了。volunteer for production crew or background work in DC。哦，你 OK 挺好啊。你能拍东西吗？你能拍东西吗？你愿意上镜吗？在乐乐法律频道的项目，我们的视频里，你要上镜的话，那你以后就不能再回中国，你以后就不能再次回去中国。哎呦，我这个反贼实在是太严重了，到底怎么了？赵薇，我也不知道，大家有没有觉得是跟那个杭州的市委书记有关系吧？应该是杭州的那个市委书记，我估计是为了保护自己，就开始疯狂的指控赵薇，对不对？这是我猜的啊，这就是为什么我对于中国政治是更加感兴趣，因为中国政治不透明啊，所以我们只能猜测。美国政治你想知道什么你就搜索，你 Google 一下就可以找到。尤其如果你会外语，如果你光会说中文的话，那你这个消息源的范围肯定是很窄的。但我相信你只要努力，功夫不负有心人，你能找到答案。中国政府就不是这样，因为中国政府我们只能猜测，所以就感觉像是八卦一样。而美国的政府，你想知道什么，你其实并不用华自媒体去告诉你，去扭曲信息，然后给你讲讨好最大市场的新闻，你不用。虽然你可能要，因为你可能懒得去搜索。谢谢你啊 ，Flores， 完全没问题，私信我。乐乐有在关注台湾的金曲奖，蛋堡沙菲获得最佳华语专辑跟最佳华语歌手奖。我没有啊，我没看。我最近一直在忙着搬家的事儿。其实说实在的，我是自从7月中旬就离开了洛杉矶，一直处于一个四海为家的状态，一直处于这样的一个其实烦躁不安、无家可归的搬家状态。而且在接下来的这个2个星期，我希望我可以在1个星期之内，在华盛顿就处理这个住处，找新的房子。因为很累，我真的受不了。昨天晚上我本来是要直播，今天早上我本来是要直播，但昨天我去的那个 Airbnb 那个网速实在是太差了，我试了，然后就不行了，所以我不得不订了一个酒店。我一个单身狗订了酒店，也没有任何的伙伴，没有任何的陪伴。我没有在关注台湾的那个金曲奖，我是有一点受不了。就像我在那个视频的结尾所说的，台湾的艺人为什么不是在发言？你假如说台湾的这个状况就换成是美国的话，美国的艺人会不会去讲中国？会不会去讲中共？他们肯定会。我的意思是说，如果中国对于美国的国家安全有存在了这么大的危险的话，就不断的威胁什么的，美国艺人会不会去讲？肯定。你回头去看，回头去听60年代末70年代初那个时候的音乐还有艺术什么的，你去看那些电影什么的，你政治是像空气一样包围着你的生活，它无处不在。 所以你的艺术怎么可能不反映当下的现状、当下的现实？为什么呢？因为也是比较喜欢人民币，是吧？我觉得我们已经到了一个不能容忍，就你是要为了讨好中国市场而改变自己的歌词，或者说调整自己的艺术，我们已经到了一个不能容忍这样的一个程度，这样的一个阶段。中共就如此邪恶，你怎么可能 how can you do it？ 这是我是从这个情感来讲，从人来说，我能理解为什么要赚到钱，但是 come on dude， 乐留胡子干嘛呀？留胡子，这是一个分歧，分水岭。Can I meet you in DC? Yeah, sure. Biden 怎么样了？又被 what's that word? Come to Edinburgh Festival, do your stand-up. What is Edinburgh like? Is Edinburgh in 英国？是在英国吗？什么张献冲？美国经常有枪击案，那些是不是美国张献冲？无聊理论，不懂。单身狗 ，Any thoughts on J.O. leaving his kid, wife, and China? Oh, Jay Chou， 周杰伦，周杰伦是不是最近离开了中国？我最近看了有关他的一些帖子，就被发到冲浪还有 Reddit 上，但是我没有打开，我没有仔细去看看。Let's see， 特别想知道美国人觉得这一次撤军最大的问题出在哪里？华语媒体都在喷是拜登的问题，乐乐怎么看？乐乐也是这么看吗？首先，我觉得最搞笑的是华语自媒体中原来有这么多外交专家呀！原来有这么多专业的外交，哇！美国政府没有华语自媒体这么多外交的才华的有才人、专家，真的是太可惜了，太可惜了。我觉得像大康，虽然我很喜欢大康，但是他讲这个撤军。还有整个围绕着阿富汗的事儿的时候，他这种绝对的语气，而且他的自信、他的信心，让我觉得你是不是有点高估了你自己？撤军这件事儿，拜登的政府肯定做得不够好，肯定是做得很差。但如果你要说，如果是川普做的话，他绝对会做得比拜登好。那你是凭着一个假如性的问题，你是凭着一个假如性的立场或的事情来试图支撑你的这个论点，那是经不起任何推敲，你挺傻逼的。华语自媒体。我不知道是怎么了，他们可能是把中国的美德给彻底忘掉，因为我看不到谦虚，我真不知道我看不到任何自知之明，大家立马就变成了专家，这是非常厉害的。那你问我这次撤军最大的问题是在哪儿呢？我们压根儿就不应该打阿富汗。美国开始打阿富汗是为什么呢？那是谁的决定呢？小布什 ，OK， 问题的源头是他。那如果你是一个非黑即白的傻逼，你非得把每一件事情归回共和党和民主党，那阿富汗的这个问题的源头可以说是共和党。但是我不建议你应该以左和右去看待这个世界，去分析一切，因为我觉得这个 思维模式实在是太狭隘，特别傻逼。只有井底之蛙才会非得把每一件事情归类左和右。那撤军的这个策略手段什么的，拜登做的怎么样呢？挺差，当然是很差的，当然很差。But 你不要问我这个最大的问题出现在哪里。我说实在的，我对中共不是很中东不是很感兴趣，所以我不会太关注。华语自媒体之所以是在疯狂的关注这个问题，是因为被传粉就是垄断了这个华语自媒体市场，可以就他们会很喜欢看拜登的这个失败，会让他们感觉很开心。实际上，美国人不是在关注，不是特别，我不能替美国人去说话。但是美国的媒体虽然是在报道这个撤军这件事儿，当然，但他也是在报道这个打疫苗。美国就是每一天有多少人死于新冠肺炎这件事儿，而华语自媒体不怎么关注这个打疫没有就美国的这个保守派，还有被洗脑的韭菜，死活不想打疫苗，拉了我们全国的后腿。华语自媒体为什么不报道这个呢？因为它不利于共和党，所以华人观众不会怎么看，他们不会喜欢。他们会喜欢的是什么呢？他们天天关注的媒体给他们树立好的一个假想敌，那就是民主党和拜登的失败。It's fucking pathetic. It's pathetic, dude. I mean, 真的很 pathetic. It's pathetic. 根本不是在关注新闻，你只是用新闻来自嗨，就是在自嗨。你是在就互相撸。因为你们关注这些新闻，并不是因为你想找到真理，你不是因为寻找真理，而是因为你想获得一种众人皆醉而我独醒的爽感。而什么样的男人会追求什么样的男人？所以什么样的人会追求这种众人皆醉而我独醒的感受呢？鸡巴小的傻逼，我只能这么说，鸡巴小还是无法让女生高潮的小人。说实在的 I just tell you, man. Yes. Oh yeah, that's that. 对，故意这样做的，在下一盘大便 so funny。这个区别很大。你想一想，佛罗里达的那个州长，在不断的说我们不用新冠肺炎不是一个问题，你们不用打疫苗什么的。结果他的国家他的那个州严重缺乏那个医疗设备，所以他就向拜登，向他一直吐槽、一直批评的拜登求助，说我们严重，我们有太多这边的胖子，疯狂的就不断的死，我们就是有这个匮乏医疗设备。而拜登是怎么做呢？他给了弗洛里达的州长。川普会这样做吗？其实我不喜欢拜登，所以大家我觉得很多传粉 而且我是会分开川普的支持者和川粉，因为我觉得要分开。很多川粉他们以为你不支持川普，那你就是支持拜登。实际上他们是还没有摆脱这个非黑即白的这个洗脑这个思维模式，他们大脑还是留在墙内的。I mean， 尤其是冲浪的神友们，你们这么反华，你们这么反华，那我问你们，你看华语这个墙外的华人当中，川粉是占有90%，这个本身应该反映出一个问题：你们这么反华，你们这么反对共产党的洗脑，对共产党的洗脑这么清醒，而且是这么反对中国的这么多吧？那你看90%翻墙的中国人是川粉，这样的比例本身是问题，本身是一个问题，本身应该足够让你质疑。也许你的世界观没有那么的全面，没有那么的清醒，也许你不是一个很牛逼的政治家，也许你在关注的华人自媒体中是非常有选择性的去给你报道新闻，也许是因为公子沈，大家千万不要忘记，公子沈本来说博尔顿的书里边写习近平和川普早用一腿这件事儿，公子沈本来说他同意这件事儿，他在视频说他其实觉得这个大概是对的，他相信这件事儿。那个视频一发出去，有一大堆人说取关，我们要取关啊！公子沈，你说了一个我们不喜欢的话，结果人家就没有再批评川普。所以你觉得是因为他真的不想再批评川普，还是因为他不想再次丢粉？所以你如果用你的流量威胁别人，逼迫别人，扭曲他们的观点，把他们的想法给过滤掉，你跟小粉红有什么区别呢？如果你把自己的价值归类于流量，我觉得你真的很无聊，很可怜，很可怜。You know, Nicky 海外华人哦，谢谢你，我操，谢谢你 ，Wow, I appreciate it. Damn, Nicky, thank you so much. Oh, my contribution to my hotel room tonight? Well, maybe I can get a lady of the night. 不关注公子沈。No， 我批评公子沈不是说我不要你们关注他，我其实觉得他对中共的分析，而且他的更新率挺牛逼啊。I mean， 那个人基本上每一天都会发1-2个视频，所以对于我一个，而且我也是喜欢他那个标准的普通话，所以我会用他的视频来学习，跟狗哥一样。但是我不得不承认，我觉得这鲁迅所提到的这个劣根性，其中的这个健忘，好像是挺有道理的吧？因为大家都忘记他那时候的视频，但我为什么要反复的提到那个视频呢？因为如果他真心相信博尔顿书里边所说的那个习近平和川普早有一腿，那说明很多，那意味着很多。 但我还会欣赏他，我还会喜欢，我还会关注他的频道啊。我不会因为我听到一个与我有一点不同的观点而疯狂的生气、取关、大哭。你知道为什么呢？因为我不是一个幼稚 little bitch。Okay, I'm not a little bitch。你如果听到有人跟你就是说政治观点是跟你不一样的话，然后你就很生气，你要骂他，要站起来，你看我那个来改变我想法的视频，我就在那个小粉红要开始骂美国，甚至是要批评我的时候，我怎么办？我是不是把他怼回去了 ？No， 我冷静下来了，然后依逻辑一套一套的给他说回去了，很礼貌。我没有，因为我不是一个 little bitch。I'm not a fucking child. And if you get mad from hearing different opinions, you're a child. 巨婴，中国共产党刚刚打击了，就比如说，中国共产党刚刚打击了中国国内的粉丝经济，你有什么看法？变了简体字啊，谢谢。刚刚打击了中国国内的粉丝经济，你有什么看法？主观。我还挺开心的，因为我觉得这个偶像文化确实很有毒。客观，当然他们应该有这个权利，当然他们应该有权利去追、去崇拜一个偶像什么的，当然他们应该有这个权利。因为主观来看，我觉得挺好啊，我觉得偶像文化特别傻逼。但是我也会尽量换角度思考。就换成是，就为什么会在中国有那么多人要粉偶像？为什么呢？因为是他们的生活应该就是很无聊。是为什么有很多人要疯狂的粉川普是一样的吧？他们就是这个会给他们一种归属感，他们会去看，自己喜欢的那些自媒体，然后评论区全都是跟他们一样的观点，一样的人。就想的跟他们一样，他们会有一种归属感，而且生活中是很无聊的吧，而且应该因为很无聊，或者说是对生活不满意，所以他们只能通过粉一个偶像，一个表面上是很完美的东西，来获得一点点快乐，每天就可以暂时躲避一下他们这个非常惨的现实。对不对？而我在上一期新冷战2021里边所提到的那一些吴亦凡的微信群，不是有人在说我们就是要冲天安门天的六色，我们要冲天安门。我觉得中国这个偶像文化很疯狂，所以共产党他也要打击这个粉丝经济。我觉得是你就是承受不必要的风险，你只是踩到自己的脚上，因为这个对你的这个政权没有任何的危险，那你为什么要打呢？为什么呢？我觉得就是因为习近平很害怕草木皆兵，现在草木皆兵，我觉得他很害怕。Yeah， 前几天川粉因为对，他们也是以前也大康说这大选没有这个作弊什么的，他们就疯狂的取关，然后大康发了第二个视频，就感觉像是见鬼了一样，就是说 I didn't know。我以为我的观众都跟我一样是在寻找真理，没有想到他们就是粉丝，他们就是崇拜了一个人，有钱啊，海外华人。Oh man， 我们的英文the English is going to start soon， 英文一会儿要开始。但是我还有一个部分我要通告一下大家，一会儿我要通告大家，乐乐跟独角兽闹翻对，还有怎么看同是维吾尔族的主播马利克是不是独角兽背后的那个经纪公司叫二咖媒体旗下的一个艺人，马利克应该是吧？You know, Malik 还是那句话 ，You know, don't hate the player, hate the game. I mean, 人家他要赚钱，所以如果我是他的话，我会先赚到钱，然后会跑到海外去，我会跑到海外。Yeah, I would run. I'd fucking run if I was him. 我觉得我怎么办？你要人家就是在国内发言，像我们刚才亲爱的 China Bill， 那是不行的。你在墙外，而你在墙内，当然是不能站起来发言。这个可能听起来很优秀、很勇敢，实际上是短视，这个是缺乏长期的这个打算。你要发言的话，你先自己安全再发言，否则你很快他们就会封住你的嘴，你很快就没法说话。拜登没有责任，拜登有责任吧？我觉得肯定是有责任。但是这个撤军是一次大失败，这个是不得不承认的事实。It's true。我跟独角兽以后就没有再跟我联系。那当然，独角兽把我以前所有参与过的作品和视频都下架了，很快，他们那个反应速度很快，非常快。他们一看到我第一期新冷战2020，就把所有跟我的视频就是立马下架了。他们这个速度挺牛逼啊，中国速度就是牛逼。Man。S.O. 卡达，谢谢你 ，Thank you very much. Thank you very much. 对，我也是觉得，我同意。我觉得确实是有很多 loser. You know, I don't know if I wanted to do this. You know, 我下一次吧。我想。随便人的礼仪必须了解。乐乐说未来的计划吧。未来的计划吧。我要开一个第二个频道。然后我会谈一些生活类的话题。因为虽然我喜欢谈政治，但实际上我最喜欢谈的话题议题，都是生活类的，尤其是谈恋爱。我一个经过风雨、见过世面的老司机，是特别想跟大家。聊这些可能是对每一个人更重要、更加有意义的事情。就虽然大家都是喜欢谈什么美国政治啊，这个阿富汗撤军，但是这个是跟你人的生活没有太大的关系吧。而绝大多数人最在影响到他们的生活，他们最在乎的事情是什么呢？不外乎是谈恋爱。父母的关系啊，人际关系这种生活类的话题，而且这个刚好就是我喜欢聊的话题。所以最近有一位在 Instagram 上有一位观众朋友，他给我发了私信，然后我就长话短说，他发现他的女朋友从2年前就开始出轨其他的男生，后来他发现就他本来是谈网恋，只是在网上发一些裸照，后来才发现了他们实际上是在现实中开了房，啪，然后这个女生最后就跟他说，其实他觉得劈腿这件事很刺激。这个男生现在只有20岁， 而且这个女生也是她的第一次就破处了，然后我给她一些 advice， 就她被绿了，我给她说 ，you know， 你肯定会有这种不甘心的心态，这种想报复。但是你也要怎么报复？其实他在那个私信里边跟我说，他他动手打了那个女生，打了一把。我说这个是不行的，除非人家打你，否则你千万不要打他，千万不要打女生。除非他打你的话，否则我觉得你不要打他。我知道中国这个家暴的法律是有点落伍的，但是我还是要强调这一点，不要打人家。你要报复的话，如果你是以那种方式，还是以像酗酒，对吧？你要喝闷酒的话，最后是你会付出更多的代价，反而适得其反。所以你一个男人，女人也是，但是我只能从男人的角度去说，你要怎么报复呢？我告诉你要变得更好，怎么变得更好呢？你首先要开始锻炼身体。怎么开始锻炼身体呢？你要撸铁还是跑步还是去打拳击？就像习近平，或者去爬山什么的，这个就是取决于你个人的信号，你个人的爱好。但是不管怎么样，你都要开始，你都要开始锻炼身体。我建议你可以开始撸铁，然后你也要开始看一本书。我建议你可以开始看科幻。因为可以帮你躲避现实，进入到另外一个世界，另外一个宇宙。你只要这2个事情能够坚持一段时间，不到2个月，基本上到第3个月你会好很多。那我不会骗你，我也不会在这儿撒谎。你这头2个月，尤其是第1个月，会很辛苦，会很难受，天天都会想到那个女生。天天会想到他怎么可能这样，而且你将来会很恐惧，怎么能够再次信任到另外一个人？但是你要知道，如果你不再次信任到另外一个人，如果你疯狂的酗酒，那个女人就赢了，你输了。你要怎么赢呢？你要怎么报复呢？他其实报复这是一个路径，你想通过报复得到什么呢？要成长。是一个机会，但是一定要坚持，不能今天锻炼身体，然后明天没有长肌肉就放弃。不，这是要坚持啊。然后这第2个账号叫乐坏乐，但是第3个乐，那当然是乐的这个乐坏乐。各位可以去关注，现在还没有发任何的内容，但是我将来会发这些。我会首先在现阶段 English is starting soon， 在现阶段我会先把这个直播中的一些片段发到那个账号，但是当我有足够的订阅量我就可以开始在那个频道上直播，而且那个是全中文，因为我觉得华语网络，尤其是我们直男太缺乏愿意说实话的声音，不会被广电束缚的声音，而刚好鄙人是个老司机，鄙人是可以给你们一些建议。我直男朋友们，当然直女我们也所有的性取的人还有性别我们都很欢迎，但尤其是我直男的朋友们，我想帮你们一下指导。操，这个词有点高估了自己。好，英文的部分即将要开始。Yes。英文的部分即将要开始 English. It's time for English. Time for English. Everybody get ready for the English part. 马上 Okay, English. Do you took the vaccine? I don't know the hell that is. Oh, vaccine? Danny, is that how you're trying to spell that vaccine, dude? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's not how you spell vaccine. 饭圈是什么？这个我也想知道。I also want to know, is 饭圈, is this word, do they mean 粉圈? Wow, tuned in just in time. All right, English, here we go. Okay. Gourmet asked me, how many women have I slept with? That's not like, that's such an interesting question, because how funny is it that guys care how many girls or how many guys a girl's had sex with, but girls don't really care that much how many girls a guy has had sex with. Because, well, I guess it's because intrinsically, if you're a girl, I mean, you can go to basically any bar in America tonight and you can get laid. It's not going to be hard. Even if you're not like really attractive, if you're pretty persistent, you'll be able to get laid tonight, probably this hour. But if you're a guy, it's tough. You got to go out and you got to work. You got to do hard. It's not easy. So I guess it would be more favorable, or a guy would look better if he is slept with more women to a female. Like maybe we appear more desired, I guess. And then, if a girl has had sex with a lot of guys, it turns guys off. And here's the thing. Guys, especially like really progressive guys, will sit here and try and tell you that like, baby, I don't care. Baby, it doesn't matter. That's your past. That's your past. I don't care about that. It's like, okay. Well, what if she told you she's had sex with 50 guys? Would you care? No, it's fine. 60? I still think that's probably fine. Okay, 70 guys. She's had 70 other wieners in or around her. You don't care? You still don't care? 70? No, it's totally fine. Men and women are equal, man. It's like, dude, listen, I feel like I think that I'm a feminist in the way that I think that men and women should have equal rights. I think I'm pretty progressive in terms of my ideologies. Maybe I'm not. But I got to admit, if a girl has had sex with a lot of guys, it will turn me off. I wish it didn't. I know it's a double standard, and I know it's fucking stupid. But it does. It does. Right? Women have to earn their value to not depend on men. Ugh, what have you been doing for the last year or two after you came back to us? Last year? Oh, after I came back to the U.S., I started the rebellion. I like that experience. Yeah. Well, if ladies having a little bit of experience is great, but let's be honest. If for sex to be good, it's not all about the man, but the man has much more pressure than the female. If the male is not good at what he's doing, the sex is not going to work. If a girl's not great at sex, but the guy's great at sex, it's probably still going to be pretty fun for both parties involved, especially the female. Right? Whereas like the girl, you don't have a lot of pressure. You don't have a lot of pressure. You don't have a lot of pressure. Come on. So for those of you that don't know, that weren't watching the Chinese part there, I announced I'm going to turn my second channel that I originally had that was LeLeLinguistics. I'm going to actually turn it into a Chinese love, feelings, and life channel, because in the Chinese diaspora, you don't have anybody that can speak the truth about questions like this one guy sent me a dissertation on his girlfriend cheating on him. For 2 years, this girl was cheating on him. 2 years. And he originally found out, and she was like, "No, it's just online. I'll delete the guy's WeChat. I'm not going to talk to him anymore." And then he figures out that she's actually banging him behind his back, getting hotel rooms. That's what they say in Chinese, 开房. get a hotel room. And then they're banging behind his back for a long time. The guy's 19 or 20 years old. That could really be damaging for a man for the rest of his life. For a young man like that, how he reacts to getting cheated on is going to be extremely important and influential for the rest of his life. And so I told him this, but I also told it in Chinese right there briefly. What you should do is, one, you got to start working out. Whether you start working out is if you're lifting or you go out for running or you start doing boxing or some shit, you just got to start working out. I would suggest lifting weights, because what's going to happen is you're going to start to feel better about yourself through that. But then two, you got to start reading a new book. Just start reading a new book. I always suggest, sci-fi or like Watchmen, some book where it's got a lot of visuals, because it will take you out of your head, which is going to be plagued by pain for a while. The first month is going to be extremely tough. The first 2 months are going to be tough. But as long as you persist with reading and exercising, by month 3, you're going to start to feel better. It's so important. I feel so bad for Chinese men, because Chinese young men, because you just don't have a bro's corner. You don't have a spot where you can just work through some thoughts. You don't have a spot where you can feel like you have an honest voice that you can listen to. And I've got a wide breadth of experience under me, and so I want to start a second channel to try and provide at least some type of honest, unfiltered voice for a generation of young men that don't have a lot of guidance. And I'm not trying to say that I'm a person worth following, but I do think that my candidness combined with my experience can help create an environment and an atmosphere where young men can grow, feel like they're not lost. That's why I always say I like Jordan Peterson, because I think he does identify a huge issue in today's society, which is young men being lost. And young men that are lost, they turn to bad things. The most dangerous thing you can have as a country is unemployed young men, bored young men that feel like they don't have a purpose or responsibility. And so I want to help out. I want to help them out, because, everybody, we talk about politics all the time, and I'm down to talk about politics. Of course, I'm down to talk about Chinese politics, American politics, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, what most of us care about in our lives, what most of us are paying attention to, or what matters most in each of our lives, is something to do with love. It's either you're in love with a girl, or you just broke up, or you're together right now, but you're experiencing some problems. And so I wanted to create this second channel, and I have an email that I'm going to put right here on this video, because I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to put it into a video. And they can just email me their questions. Email me any thoughts that you have, and I'll pick out the ones that I can answer the best and try and answer them and build out a second channel that way. Because that's what matters to a lot of people, is love. What's going on? Are you chasing a girl? Can you not chase her? Why can't you? Where are you failing? Or guy? I feel at least you're not afraid to speak your feelings, bro. Yeah, you got to be able to speak your feelings. As men, the worst thing that you can give into as a man is this idea of trying to be tough, just trying to appear tough all the time. Men that try and appear tough all the time are usually insecure about something. Men that always try and project an image of tough, that can't, giggle or wear, I don't know, a light pink shirt. I can't say that because that's not true. But, there's no reason to try and project toughness all the time or masculinity. You should just be yourself. I don't know. It's tough. I feel you, Lila. You're not afraid to speak your feelings, bro. Thanks. Yeah. I want to be able to help young Chinese guys that are frustrated in life, because frustration leads to bad things usually. Yeah, 12, dude, 12 Rules for Life. I bought it in Chinese for this channel. I have the 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson's book. I got it in Chinese so that I can try and do this channel better. And I've been really preparing. I've been listening to like relationship podcasts and stuff to try and prepare myself. I don't agree with a lot of things he says, but about women, some make sense. His whole women in makeup debate is a big no for me. I don't even know that one. I don't know what the makeup debate is, but I'm sure that if you said the things that you don't like, I'm willing to hear him. I don't really know. I just like his stuff that he says with young men, man. I think he's so helpful with trying to help young men find direction in their life. You know, because I was someone that was lost in my mid-20s. 24, 25, and 26, I was absolutely lost. And I wish I had someone like Jordan Peterson to give me advice at that period of time. Wow, that's an interesting point. Do you recommend any channels for Asians on Reddit to build thoughtful or meaningful friends with Westerners? Fucking no, actually. I don't know, Young, because all the language exchange apps just turn into like dating apps. I really don't. Oh, yeah, Clubhouse. You could try Clubhouse. I don't really know, though. To be honest with you, it's tough. Why young men lost? In both China and West, young men are like afraid to talk to girls, some even virgin until 30. You know, if you're a virgin till 30, that's fine. I mean, that's, you know, obviously not ideal. But, you know, it's you got to be able to talk about this. If you're too embarrassed to talk about it, then you're going to be a virgin till you die. Yeah, well, if you're afraid to talk to women, that is, you should. It's not like confidence. You can just be confident. It's not like someone just says, "Hey, be confident." You're like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know it. I'll be confident now." Confidence comes from being confident, which comes from like actually improving yourself. So, like, you know, I'm confident in speaking Chinese because I know I'm good at Chinese. I'm confident when talking to a girl because I work out. I read books. I have a wide breadth of experience and interests, so I can talk to basically anybody about most things except for like cars and fashion. It's like, right, really, those are the two things that I really just don't understand at all, and I probably never will. But I have that. I know that, so that's why I'm confident in talking to a girl. Confidence isn't going to come by just being like, okay, I can do it. I got it. Come on, guys, let's go. It's going to come from working on yourself. So, you know, 会粉红西呼的会粉红呼吸的强国大乳人可爱的小粉红. You know, if you start working out, like lifting weights, I'm telling you, by week 2, you're going to feel more confident. By month 2, you're going to feel really confident. You're going to look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to be like, holy shit, where did this love? No, because it's got to be English. All right, it's got to be Chinese. You know, in English, we have guys like Jordan Peterson, or you have tons of options. If you're looking to, as a male, if you're looking to like find a community or whatever, you have a lot of options. Chinese guys don't really have that. There's not fraternities. Okay? There's not like, I don't know. It's just, it's tough. Do you think Marvel's new movie Shang-Chi is a misinterpretation? I haven't watched a Marvel movie since Obama's first term, and I probably never will. I think superhero movies are fucking boring. After watching things like The Boys and True Detective, okay, Breaking Bad, I can't go back to PG-13. I've tasted R. I've tasted the spice of R-rated movies and R-rated TV shows, R-rated superhero shit. I can't deal with a PG-13 just like, ugh. I can't. I can do PG or G, like, you know, like WALL-E, like a Pixar film, Inside Out. That's a great film. But PG-13 for me, it's just like, it's like having sex with 2 condoms on. It's just like, I know what this could be, but it doesn't feel good. Look up Rostow's ladder. As society advances, their fertility rate drops as a whole. Good. Lila, Barry White. Be water. Water is actually strong. Hello, Richard. Barry White, dude. Nice. How do you feel about all these smarmy multinational corporations that are responsible being questioned about sponsoring? Oh, what did they say? I didn't see their response. What was their responses? Do you listen to Sam Harris? No, but I've heard his interviews, and he sounds pretty interesting. Dude, Sam Harris is, when he went on Bill Maher, which I can't really watch that much because the audience just makes me fucking crazy. But Sam Harris went on Bill Maher, and Ben Affleck was on. Have you guys ever seen this video? If you haven't seen this, you should go watch Ben Affleck make a fool of himself on Bill Maher. Make an absolute fool of himself. Fucking such a cocksucker. To be honest, all but one of my relationships here in Japan have been built on wanting to practice English. And when I only use Japanese, they dump me. It leads me to being distrustful of Japanese people. Well, you know, in Chinese, I realized that once you just start learning Chinese, you know, that's the best time to find a Chinese girlfriend. That's the easiest time you'll find a Chinese girlfriend. Once you're intermediate, once you're in between, you're not going to find a Chinese girlfriend, because what happens is when you're intermediate, you're not good enough to be for the entire relationship to be able to rely on your language skills, right? But you're also not terrible, so you guys can like feel like, hey, maybe we could try, and then you very quickly realize that it doesn't work unless her English is really good. But still, for me, there was a period between beginner and then when I got really, really advanced and good at Chinese, you know, I could attract Chinese girls again, but not as much as in the beginning, because now I speak Chinese. Yeah, sometimes it's a turnoff, actually. Sometimes Chinese girls don't even want that, especially once they figure out that you are leading the rebellion against their imperial government. Then they're usually pretty fucking scared about that one. I had a girl on Hinge, a dating app, a Chinese girl, and I having a great conversation, hitting it off real well. And then she somehow found my social media. She was like, "Are you LeLeFarley?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Oh wow, we could never be together." And that was the end of that conversation. Over, just like that. Struggler, Jungadu. Does the United States care how old when you get married? Will you urge marriage? Hell no. You know, I say that as a guy, but I'm sure women get pressure. I'm sure that women get pressure to get married quicker or some shit, you know? I'm sure that women get that pressure. I just don't really feel it. Actually, my sister does. My sister's 2 years older than me, and I've seen, you know, people will definitely be more likely to ask her, like, "Hey, when are you thinking about, we have a boyfriend yet?" Whereas, like, men, you know, you can just fucking do nothing. Dude, Luca, who the fuck are you paying attention to on social media? Where are you getting your news from, buddy? All right, good call with the relationship channel initiative. Nice, thanks. You're a good man, Lola. I appreciate it. Light seeker. Question 1. Boobies or butts? It's a great question. It's a great question. If you're looking at this question and you're a girl and you're feeling angry or frustrated, or you're like, "Oh, who is this light seeker guy? How could he ask a question like that?" Then I don't think you know men very well, because every single man has an answer to that question. Every single one. I don't know. I feel like gay men probably have an answer. Actually, I don't know. Gay men would probably be dick or butt, maybe. But at least straight men all have an answer to boobies or butts. For me, it's probably boobies. Definitely boobies. But more importantly, just like I said in my stand-up routine, you know, ladies, if you don't have big boobs, that's fine. First of all, don't get boob surgery, because as someone that has a lot of experience with fake boobs, and even the ones that like were 10,000, multiple thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollar surgeries, it's still not worth it. I mean, fake boobs feel awful. Fake boobs, they just feel like it's like hard. It's like this. It like feels like some ocean pollution like leaked into your skin or something. It doesn't move either. So like, you know, a girl when she lays down, the boobs like will move sometimes into your armpit. If a girl has fake boobs, they just like sit there like and they don't like move. I don't think it's worth it because honestly, ladies, big boobs are nice, but what's most important is actually a nice boob to nipple ratio, you know. And every guy has a different taste in the ratio game. Some guys will like a little bit more of a pepperoni to pancake. Other guys will like more of like a nickel to cheeseburger bun. You know, I'm probably the latter. But okay, now more importantly, the second question. Serpenza Lawa86 confirms she is a Ryan. Can we find out the truth? What, you mean like Xi Jinping? Because he went to America. So you're saying that like he went to America for that summer. I think he was in like what, Iowa or something? He was in like Iowa, I think. And they gave him a name, Ryan. Was it Ryan? This is what I think is really interesting. Speaking of Ryan. Ryan Long is a great YouTuber. He's probably my favorite YouTuber. I don't even call him a YouTuber. I think he's just a great comedian. You know, the conservatives, or not the conservatives, the right, America's right versus left versus right. You know, comedians and artists in general are always left-leaning. I mean, it's just because he just takes a little bit more, I guess, flexibility and a little bit more accepting of things different than yourself. But you know, it's not absolute, but most comedians and most artists are left-leaning. I think it's really funny and interesting that you're seeing a rise in right-leaning comics like Ryan Long. And that's just a result of political correctness, of this idea of PC is, you know, political correctness is awful, and I hate it so much. You know, I'm absolutely against that, very much so. And I would just say, you know, Republicans, you guys have a chance to be the science party. You know, as the left, especially as the far left becomes like, just gets more and more obsessed with gender stuff. And, you know, you have people like saying gender fluidity and stuff, which if you believe that, I mean, whatever, it's your right to believe that. But I don't. I mean, I think men and women, you know, I have an XY chromosome, you have an XX chromosome, and everyone, like, our bones are different. There's very different things physiologically about us. I'm going to sound like someone's going to get so fucking mad at me. But whatever. You know, I wrestled, okay, for 4 years. It's different when you wrestle chicks versus men, okay, even the weakest man. And if the left's embracing, or the far left's embracing of that, or trying to be tolerant and not piss off, you know, the 20-year-old liberal arts students that major in 13th century English poetry and are upset that they can't find a job when they get out of college. You know, the right has a chance to be the embracer of science, but this anti-vaccination shit is fucking killing you guys. I mean, the right had a great chance to be kind of like the science party, or at least take that from the left. But this anti-vax shit is shooting yourself in the foot. Shooting yourself in the foot, man. You know, Cambodia 69, is that someone's name? There's no such thing as a good boob job. Yeah, definitely. It's true. It's true. Will you protest in D.C.? Diana, I will protest in the way that I protest. Okay. We might see the cheerleaders might have to come back. The big titty cheerleaders might have to come back. You know, apparently Falun Gong people protest at the embassy here, like every day, which is going to be great for me. I want to do much more man on the street interviews, like funny ones too. especially with like Chinese people, would be hilarious. Like Falun Gong protesters would be super funny. It'd be super funny if I just like went up to Falun Gong protesters and like asked them a question that had nothing to do with Chinese politics, like booby or butt. What if I went up to these Falun Gong protesters and was like, okay, so I'm out here. My name is LeLeFarley. Oh, you've heard of me? Okay, great. I wanted to ask you, are you a boob guy or a butt guy? Keep up the good work, brother. Thank you. 拉清单吧，拉清单。闹得欢，拉清单。Thank you. 儒社, 辱华社, whatever that YouTube channel is, they're fucking brilliant. There's no such thing as a good boob job. What do you mean by that? What he means is, or he or she means is, it's just not worth it. He just feels, it's the hand feels just different. Libertarianism is on the right, correct? No, not really. You know, I am a libertarian, I guess. I always tell people, you know, it's just because I want drugs to be legal. Don't get angry at me, okay? I just want them to legalize MDMA and acid and shrooms. That's it. Not really, but mostly. Sometimes pretend you don't understand, answer back in English. Don't look left. Don't look right, look forward. Nice. Right is also not anti-vaccine. That's a misinterpretation per usual from the uni-party bureaucrat oligarchy, much more nuanced position. Interesting. I just see it on like, you know, Fox News a lot more. And, you know, obviously, 有没有中文时间？中文已经过了，中文已经结束了。Yeah, I just see it on far right media a lot more. Like all these far right media radio hosts that died of COVID that were anti-vax. So I just see it a lot more. But I also will admit, you know, I could be not seen enough because I don't really pay attention as much as maybe I should. If you come to DC, I will buy you a beer. Okay, well, I'm in DC right now. On the gender debates, conservatives undeniably hold the position of truth. The left, however, will never care. Also, the vast majority of right are pro-vax. Even Trump told his fans to get vaxxed. Yeah, he told his fans to get vaxxed, and what happened? He got booed. They booed him. I wouldn't call exactly. Yeah, you're right, Simon. As soon as that came out of my mouth, I kind of felt like I was probably not right. I think he's in the center of a lot of things. He just doesn't follow left-wing or right-wing standards of self-censorship. Yes. And the thing is, because the left is very clear about their standards of self-censorship, it's easier for me to make the mistake of just thinking that, or to define him as right-leaning, even though he's just middle, because he makes fun of everybody, which is what a good comedian does. I'd say long enough to where I don't care about the science party. I care about the sensible party. Let's see. Simple American right. Love Trump. Yeah, libertarianism is a right-wing ideology on the political spectrum. Pride is pro-vax. Yeah, Sketchy Dustin is saying that is not true. Like your painting back there, is it pretty Fango? Yeah, it's a hotel room. So vaccinating the entire population of the earth is scientific. No control group, no studies, no test prior. I mean, Rhodey, which vaccine are you talking about? Are you talking about COVID? Because there's definitely studies, there's definitely tests, and there's definitely control groups. You know, what do you want to see? Do you want to see the statistic analysis? What's the confidence interval that you need? What's the N? What's the sample size that you need that before you'd be happy with it? With what confident interval? I mean, what's the error rate that you can accept? You know, what are you talking about? Vaccinating the entire population. We are vaccinated. I mean, I had to get a smallpox vaccination when I was a kid. I had to get a ton of others. Measles. I had to get one malaria. Actually, I think malaria was just a pill. I don't understand where this idea of like, I don't know. Moving back to the States next month. Love to see you make it out to Denver. Maybe one day. What's your view about Vax Passport? What does that mean, Vax Passport? So, like, if I have a vaccination, I can go to, like, a NBA game? Is that what that means? Like, I don't know what it means. Like, that if you have a vaccination passport, you can do certain things? I mean, isn't that what we do already? Don't you have to get a vaccination to go to school? Smallpox and shit? Next question, Lila. How long are you in D.C.? I'm moving here. I'm moving to D.C. I'm moving to Washington, D.C. Hopefully for a while. As long as I don't fuck up, in the first month, which I might. I might. They boot him. Yes, that's great. Doesn't it suggest that his movement is not a cult? It does suggest that his movement's a cult. Doesn't it suggest that his movement is not a cult? So you're saying the double negative. It does suggest that it's a cult. That you'd boo that. It's like kind of a death cult. No real right in Denver has so many massage parlors. Greetings from Australia. I've been following your work for several months. You're brilliant. Wow, thank you so much. Oh, I definitely will. Yeah, Australia would definitely be high on that list of places I'd go. Definitely. Thank you, Bogan. Sodos. Yeah, Sodos helps me keep my shit in check. He actually corrected me, or not corrected me, he just helped me understand the Trump getting banned on Twitter, and Twitter, like the legal details behind that, which I was completely ignorant of. And it's much more interesting and complicated than I originally thought. Right and left are really not that useful. The issue is what extent the government will act to enforce which set of type moralities are to be reflected. Yeah, using left and right to view everything is silly, let's be honest. Is quite silly. Anyone like a foot job here? Just curious. Not me, though. How are you affording DC? Well, I have a job here. I will have a job. Why are you choosing DC to move to? So I'm going to be doing a talk show with Radio Free Asia. I'm going to be doing a talk show with Radio Free Asia. Maybe more shows with them. But first, we're just going to do this one show. If it goes well, then we will do more. I think that one thing that's really important with fighting the Communist Party is fighting the disinformation of Mandarin. Mandarin, if you only speak Mandarin, your choices for news and information is slim pickings. Dude, slim pickings. It's rough. Ryan is a Canadian comedian. They tend to be middle. He's awesome, dude. I love him. He's brilliant. I'm a friend of Taiwan, seriously concerned with staving off war. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, war is, it's like, it's not a, I love this. Jenny C's like, lol, what? How are you piece of shit? You poor sack of shit. How are you going to afford DC? It's all right. I'm only a little offended. I like this time you've chosen for the stream. Finally, a time on the day that is not during the graveyard hour. Please maintain the schedule for the future if it is possible. Usually I do Saturday morning because that's when all the Chinese are on. And that's when all the Europeans are on as well. We'll see, though. We'll see. I don't like foot. I can't even. Is like a foot job a thing? You should read The Female Eunuch. Ooh, I don't even know what that is. The only difference is that you need to show a vaccination record once you register for school. Yeah. But you will need to show it every time, like NYC now. Well, what does that mean? So, like, when I walk into a restaurant, I gotta be like, psh. Is that what you mean? Like, when I walk into anywhere? So, what does that enable? So, if there is a vaccination passport, then does that enable me to go to like sports games without a mask on because we know everybody there has got the vaccination? I'm fucking down for that. That's awesome. I'm super into that. That'd be great. I got vaccinated, and I believe in science. So, like, I have no problem with that. I mean, I don't think that they should say that you have to take a vaccination, but if you don't vaccinate yourself and there's restrictions because of that, fucking, that's on you. It's the same thing if you want to travel and you don't have like a measles or malaria, you also can't do it. This is not new. This is not a new thing. Liu Xiaoming. Yeah. Funny guy. I don't know if you guys normal actions for places that are still in some form of lockdown. Yeah. When you talk to anyone in any store, show your record. Are you serious? That's absurd. That would be absurd. That would be fucking annoying. Yeah, I always do it. Is there any benefit to always? No. I don't really think passive listening is beneficial at all, to be honest with you. Tell that bastard to have me back on. People can, so it doesn't make a big difference in events which are packed. I don't know. I mean, have you looked at the data? Have I looked at the data? No. Am I going to look at the data? No. Because I don't fucking care. I just got a vaccination and I hope it works. You know, I've heard that fighting the Delta variant, you know, I have the Pfizer, which apparently is the best at it, but I've heard that success rate in fighting the Delta variant is getting adjusted all the time. It's just going down. It was like 90-something%. Now it's like 60-something%. So, you know, I mean, this is the new reality, unfortunately, is that COVID is in our world and it sucks. The Trumpers are still trying to push Biden as a CC sympathizer, but he isn't caving the CCP. Yeah, he's not. But what I want to see is how he reacts to the Olympics, because the Olympics is a big deal. You know, this is really where Biden and his administration could get some good PR points, but it's also where he could completely lose me personally. I just don't think there's any excuse for those Olympics. Like, I get it. Athletes, you guys can go, even though I want a fucking full boycott. And the athletes, you know, you make a sacrifice. I made a fucking sacrifice. So it's hard for me to sympathize because, like, I get it. It's not fair to try and ask athletes to sacrifice for the greater good of this world and mankind. But at the same time, I fucking did. So it's hard for me to sympathize. Trumpers will push Biden to see. So I don't think he's a CCP sympathizer, but I do think that he has a huge chance here to either fuck up or send a resounding signal that he is anti-CCP. I mean, the Olympics are a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a really, 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 really big deal. You know, it's a really good point. I mean, it's huge, but you can still get it and are contagious, but feel fine, go out, do things, you know, feel sick, give it to more people. What do you think of California recall? I don't know what the California recall is. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. Those of you that don't speak Chinese, 说中文吧，听不懂，中文部分已经结束了。So in China recently, there was this girl, Zhao Wei. She's an actress, a director, and later became like a business tycoon. She's a fucking billionaire with a B. Yeah, billionaire with a B. She's getting in huge trouble recently in these past few days. Her and her husband got in trouble in the past with some type of like insider trading or something to do with finance. I'm not really sure of it. But then she got in trouble recently again for some type of like, she had like a shell company and insider trading. I don't really know, honestly, because I was a behavioral economics concentration, not my financial economics knowledge is hurting, is lacking. But she got in trouble for embezzling, and you know, it's China, so we don't really know if like she actually did do that. She probably did, but the fact of the matter is, you know, when everybody is corrupt, in the same way that when Xi Jinping did his anti-corruption campaign, you know, when everybody is corrupt in the government, an anti-corruption campaign is just an internal war. It's just an internal battle. And so what is happening with this business when everybody is like cutting corners and like skipping out on taxes or whatever? There's definitely some political reasoning behind Zhao Wei getting arrested and getting, or I don't think she's arrested yet, but getting in trouble. Gao Xiaosong, the public intellectual, he's also getting in trouble. And in China this week, there was just a humongous movement to censor even further all the arts. So what you're having now is there's like no fan groups. You're not allowed to like be a fan. Like they call them 粉丝. They're gonna like really severely limit your ability to be like a fan, like an idol, like Chris Wu. They call him an idol. It's kind of like K-pop. You know how like you have K-pop like fanatics. So in China, they're going to restrict that, and they're going to restrict like these things, like these lists where it's like the most popular fucking female actors of 2021. They're going to like restrict lists like that. Okay, they're really reining in the already extremely censored arts. And it's pretty fucking crazy because Zhao Wei, the billionaire female, it's rumored that this has to do with Jack Ma. Now, Jack Ma, Alibaba's out of Hangzhou. I think Jack Ma himself is from Hangzhou as well. And the Hangzhou General Secretary of Hangzhou, I think, it's like the Standing Committee of Hangzhou Secretary. He was recently arrested too for some type of like corruption or whatever. Who knows what the charges they'll come up with. And so if I'm reading the tea leaves here, you would theorize that this Hangzhou General Secretary, I don't know if the English translation is General Secretary, 市委书记. You would theorize that he is turning in other people to try and protect himself. And people would say that Jack Ma is in or at least supportive of Jiang Zemin and Jiang Zemin's faction. Now, Jiang Zemin is the guy they called the Toad. Okay, he's the guy that told that Hong Kongese reporter to go fuck herself that one time in that really funny video. He came into power after Tiananmen Square, kind of through Tiananmen Square. And Falun Gong followers, practitioners really don't like him. Now, he is the faction he had a much larger faction, you can assume, but the anti-corruption campaign definitely weakened his faction significantly. And so there's just a lot of movement going on in China right now that indicates Xi Jinping's growing paranoia. It also is going to eventually shoot him in the ass. Leader of the party of the city. Oh, okay, 市委书记. Okay, thank you very much. And it's interesting because they're going to try and rein in the arts, and I think it's a mistake, a huge mistake, because Chinese people, most of them are pretty fucking ignorant of the growing authoritarian reality around them. They can kind of feel it, I guess, a little bit, but it's not that loud. It's not right in their face. And if you go after their ability to use stardom and use famous people to escape their miserable reality, that's a really easy way to piss people off. Like, Chinese people aren't aware of a lot of the freedoms that the Communist Party takes from them. But if you take away their ability to be able to just like become obsessive with beautiful artists or whatever, that's a way to make them mad. That's a way to like wake people up to be like, oh shit, Xi Jinping really is taking this country to the fucking ground. Yeah, it means super mayor. Oh, it means super mayor. I don't know. I think it's very interesting. 市委书记. Oh, it wasn't? 市委书记 has to be screwed by politician of Jiang Zemin's faction. I would assume it's a factional beef. Because, you know, Xi Jinping stepping on the toes of the private industry. Okay, they recently said that the Communist Party recently said that the private industry needs to share more of its wealth with the country. One, they also said they're going to start reining in people that are speaking negative about the economy. The Communist Party recently said that they're going to start reining in people that are speaking bad about the economy. Dude, that is really bad, man. That sends all types of signals. That is really, really bad. I mean, whoo, buddy. Vancouver would be awesome too. Huge Mandarin population. Yeah, definitely. Canada and Australia would be great for me. I could easily sell out shows there. Not easily, but I definitely could. Even though Jenny thinks that I'm just like some poor sack of shit. It's just really struggling in my life. He started rating in people that speak. It's really bad. It's huge. I mean, that's a terrible problem. Let us trick him into wasting $14 trillion on the Olympic alone. That way they'll have no more money to feed the population in PLA. Thoughts and input on this plan? It wouldn't work because, you know, building everything for the Olympics and all that shit, all the stuff that's related to that, the logistics. I mean, that's what the Communist Party, like local guys like. I mean, that's what you can make your political grade look good. You make yourself look good. Will celebrities have a maximum cap on how many people can follow them or sub to them so they don't get too big or too popular? I don't know. So there's these things on Weibo, on the Chinese Twitter Weibo, called Chao Hua, which means like super speech or some shit. And it's where all these people can go and you post pictures of your favorite actor or whatever, your favorite idol. You post pictures, you post links of their show, their song, everything that has to do with them, right? You all put it in this super hua, these Chao Hua. And all these Chao Huas are getting censored and shut down completely. So they're severely limiting Chinese people's ability to escape their miserable reality. I feel like it's gonna you're shooting yourself in the foot there. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You know? So as long as the frogs are being boiled slowly, they may never notice how much has been lost, and by the time they figure it out, it'll be too late. Well, here's the thing, Bogan. What's happening when you take away like things like this, like the ability to be idle, like they're not having. Okay, there's another thing. In Chinese variety shows, you're not allowed to call in and vote. They're stripping the ability of like Chinese variety shows to like call in and be like, or just to like vote for someone, a contestant. Can't do that anymore. They're taking that away. And when you start taking away these things that help people, Chinese people, that distract them, honestly, they distracts them from the fact that they are boiling. You're going to have more people wake up to their miserable existence, and they're not going to have any way to escape it. And when you push people far enough, that's a way to really cause some serious instability. Yeah, why does China have to gain in attacking their own tech industry? Dude, there's nothing to gain. You can only lose. And you can only lose. Xi Jinping is so dumb, dude. That's all you can say. Xi Jinping is so dumb, and Xi Jinping is what this doing is the Communist Party is a mafia. And so when the Communist Party says something like, we need to, the private industry needs to give more money to the country, what they're saying is, we don't have enough money. We want more. Give it to us. It's a mafia that's coming by and saying, yeah, the protection, it just doubled. PRC's plan all along has been to fake it until they make it, and most of the world seems to be falling for that. Perception is more important than reality. So Cambodia 69, I wrote a script for a video on the train here to Washington, D.C., which, by the way, 8-hour train. I don't suggest it to anybody. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Yeah, there's no more point in my life where I'm willing to sacrifice my freedom of speech for authoritarianism than when I have to take the trains in America. Jesus Christ, they're so embarrassing. I wrote an article, or I wrote this script. It's a rough draft right now, but I hope I can turn it into something good. Which is for like Farrell's Financial Advisor Solutions or something, like Farrell's LeLeFarley Financial Solutions. And I want to make it like one of those, investment advisor commercials where it's like, I obviously know the market, but what I know more is my clients, what they need, what their wishes are, how their kids, like all this stuff. They try to be like really warm. And I'm going to try and do it. But like, I know like my clients and how they try and take advantage of Chinese IPOs. And I want to be like a financial advisor for Chinese IPOs. And the joke is, obvious, just don't do any of them. None of them are a good idea. And see, like our experts use a very complicated quantitative method of analysis. And after crunching out some data and some numbers through our algorithm, we give our advisors the best solutions made for them. Hey, man, do you think I should invest in Alibaba's new Ma-Yi, the ant group? It seems that Jack Ma spoke for longer than the allotted 10-minute limit at a event with Xi Jinping, and it really pissed Xi off. So I would actually say short anything that has to do with Jack Ma. Like, what is the relation between the investment? Yeah, it's gonna be like a Harmony Egg type thing. It's like these commercial type video. What's the relation between how much you want to invest in Chinese IPOs and how much the boss of the company hurt Xi Jinping's fragile ego? Yes, Jack Ma fucked himself over, dude. Jack Ma absolutely fucked himself over, dude. What an idiot. 越来越落后，对，没错。Much love from Canada, my dude. Thank you. Buy a NFT. I don't know what that is. They're making AI robots that will have the right to vote, and they don't need the population. She's out of touch with this. Yeah, she has no idea what the typical Chinese young person thinks about, what they care about, how they spend their life. I mean, how pathetic is it that in China, you're not even allowed to 躺平? Like, you can't even lay down. You don't even have the right to be pessimistic. You don't have the right to just lay down and be like, fuck it, life sucks, not worth it, fuck it. You don't even have that right. You have to be a slave to the system. You have to be. And Xi Jinping and the party think that like young people are going to be fine with, a movie about a communist soldier like taking Tiger Mountain by strategy. Seriously, I mean, this is how what happened in the Cultural Revolution. In the Cultural Revolution, all art eventually was replaced by the state. And if you go back and look at the Cultural Revolution, those plays and those movies, holy shit, they are awful. It is unbelievable, dude. It's pretty funny, though. It's kind of funny. I did a Cultural Revolution play when I was at Emory. Man, if I was in China and pictures of that play, which I have, I think they're still online too, where I played Vulture, the capitalist pig. We made it a sarcastic, we made it a satirical piece. We did Taking Tiger Mountain by Strategy, which is a popular play in the Cultural Revolution. And there's pictures of us doing that where we're like, I'm Vulture, the capitalist monster. If that surfaced, think about that. If that surfaced and I was in China and I was like, if I was like my friend Jerry, I could get in huge trouble. That could fuck me over. There's like like the girl I was talking about, Zhao Wei. The girl, I'm going to yeah, because I have this in the title, so I need to talk about this anti-Japanese sentiment that's happening too. Anti-Japanese sentiment in China is going crazy. So like Zhao Wei, yeah, this is the name of the Chinese talking about in my strategy. So like Zhao Wei, the billionaire female that I was telling you, she also got in trouble because they found pictures 20 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was 20 years ago. Pictures of her wearing a Japanese flag, like around her. I think it was maybe a Japanese flag dress or something. And she got in huge trouble for that. 2 weeks ago, a Chinese actor got in trouble for posting a picture where he went to a wedding at like some shrine for Japanese war. For Japanese people that died in Japanese, like I don't know if it's war heroes necessarily. Maybe it's war heroes, but it's a shrine for Chinese or for dead Japanese soldiers. And this Chinese like celebrity, this very famous male actor, very famous, took a picture there, and it ruined his whole career. His career's over. Gao Xiaosong, a popular intellectual with, I think, the highest viewed Youku show. So the Chinese YouTube, the Youku, it's not that popular anymore, but Youku, I think it set records elsewhere too, even like in the West. It was one of the most popular shows ever, and it's literally just this fat, ugly guy, this fat, ugly public intellectual named Gao Xiaosong, talking about history. He'll talk about like when he went to Alaska, and he just talks. That's it. And it was one of the most popular, if not the most popular show of all time. His statements about the same Japanese shrine surfaced, and the dude's fucked. He's got an American passport, okay? I don't feel bad about it for this guy at all. He should have got out of China a long time ago. So in China, there's this extremely large rising anti-Japan sentiment that's even more intense than what it was originally in the past. You know, in the past, when I was in Nanjing, like this cab one time, he'd pick me up. He was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "America." He was like, "Good. If you're from China or Japan, I went to pick you up." I was like, "Okay, buddy. Yeah, you would have known. Fucking sure, tough guy." But this anti-Japan sentiment, you know, there was this horrible video that if you guys watch the Dog China show, he had it in one of his videos, where there's this like, I think he's like a 5-year-old kid is looking at, I think, Japan athletes or something. Maybe it's Japanese athletes. He's looking at something to do with Japan on TV. I think it's Japanese Olympic athletes. And he's like, "I hate Japan." He's like, "I hate the Japanese." And he's like, he's freaking out. And the kid is, and the mom thinks it's like funny and charming. This kid's like barely old enough to form a sentence. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, it's nuts. It's crazy, dude. It's a level of brainwash. You know, it's like in 1984. Don't they have like the 2 minutes of hate? In 1984, remember? They post a picture of whoever the perceived enemy is. I think his name begins with an O, Oberlin or something. And as soon as they post a picture up there, even the author, even like the person that you're experiencing the book through, even though he's like kind of woke and aware of the authoritarian ways in like the party and whatever, he still can't help but feel like a sickening in his stomach when he looks at the picture of this guy. They're just like, "Oh," and they just get the 2 minutes of hate. In China, that's huge. In China, they do that. And in China, you see the hate is an important part of the education. Yongkun is very right. And you see it in the Mandarin free-speaking YouTube. On the Mandarin free-speaking internet, you know, even the more woke Chinese people still are susceptible to the consequences of this hate education. You know, it's such a telling difference that I have so many in my audience. I have so many either Republicans or former Trump supporters or current Trump supporters. You know, I think one of his name is Ron McPaul. I think his name is. I'm forgetting your name, man. I'm so sorry. I think it's Ron. I know your first name is Ron or Ronald, who is a right-wing Trump supporter that has been very supportive of my channel for a very long time. And is okay and can at least deal with or laugh or accept some of my more liberal views, you know, like legalize drugs, peace, love, and happiness. And the Chinese Trumpers, especially, just can't. They just like, it's so difficult for them to accept someone with different views than them. A lot of them, it's almost like it's like a fucking Pavlovian response that as soon as you hear someone that doesn't agree with you 100%, it's like, the fuck. And what the Chinese YouTube diaspora does is they take advantage of this. And so what they do is they'll paint, you know, the Dems, the Democrats, and like Biden as like this, like in Baizuo, the Baizuo, like this word Baizuo, which means white left. And I think you're probably best off trying to understand it as equivalent to like a libtard, I think, or social justice warrior, which, let's be honest, 95% of Chinese people that are on the free speech, that hop the firewall, have no idea what a libtard is. They've never interacted with a social justice warrior in their life. They've never gotten into an argument with a social justice warrior in their life. But this Baizuo idea is just like 1984, and it's just like what the Chinese government does with Japan. It just tries to create this invisible enemy that is the source of all your life problems. So all your suffering in life, it's all because of the Baizuo. Ah! So that's why they have such a visceral reaction. You know, that's why so many Chinese Trumpers think that I support Biden, even though I never supported this guy. I didn't even vote for him. It's because I don't support Trump. They just, it's like they haven't completely shaken the shackles of this hate teaching that is so heavily emphasized in the Chinese Communist Party's brainwashing mechanism. You know, I think it's so telling that I have so many right-wing supporters, Western right-wing supporters, but then most of this right-wing Chinese diaspora can't accept anything different from their own opinion. They can't accept any variance in opinion or ideology, because that means that you're a Baizuo, and all of the media, all the YouTubers that they watch constantly push down their throats this idea that all the problems in the world come from the Dems. The Dems. And what I always tell Chinese people, yo, let's be honest. The Dems and the Republicans don't give a fuck about you. They don't. And that's the hardest thing, I think, for a lot of Chinese, you know, netizens to possibly accept, is they don't fucking care about you. Like the American politicians, a lot of them don't even care about me, Americans. They just care about themselves and their own interests, the people that are paying for their campaigns, that are financing their campaigns. And to think that, like, Mark Rubio is really trying to fight China because he wants to save you is childish. He's doing it because it's good for his political career. Okay? But, you know, whatever. I don't care about why he's doing it. I'm glad that he's speaking out. I'm glad someone's speaking out. But I'm not going to sit here and just be like, no, it's because he really cares about you. You know, Ouyang Wangpeng living in Nanjing. Like, no, they don't give a fuck about you. Including Trump. I mean, to think that Trump cared about Chinese people is hilarious. Hilarious. What did he say? He called the Hong Kongese protesters rioters. He said he hopes Xi Jinping will take care of it. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. And I think that maybe they're like want to kill the messenger. Maybe they want to kill me because I'm the one telling them the truth. But I'm not going to lie to them, you know. Yeah. No, your philosophy is childish. 7x77. If I wanted my own comeback, I would have wiped it off your mother's face, dude. Come on. Did that for multiple times. Nonsense. I have unlimited time for nonsense, unfortunately. Don't have unlimited time. Nice. Far right. Liberals are the ones who blind you and blind to the effects and consequences of liberalism. Far right often cannot accept any difference in opinion. The anti-vaxxers are like that too. Well, hold on. For goodness of love, let's be honest. The far left also cannot accept any difference of opinion. The far left is maybe the most dangerous thing ever, because what happens with the far left is they push people like me who are in the middle, or like Ryan Long. They push people in the middle towards the right or towards the far right because you're just the same thing. You know, extremism in any way is just not right. And the only people that give into extremism are simple-minded fools. There's only people that give into it. Yeah. Bro, what's FOB stand for? Fresh off the boat. Fresh off the boat. Fresh off the boat. Yeah, Master Chief knows. Extremism, in any opinion, extremism is just because you're too simple to understand the nuance and complicated nature of this world. The world is much more complicated than left and right. Okay, people are much more complicated than left and right. Much more. We're extremely complicated creatures. To try and define everything with such a narrow view is silly. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Also, like, why would you want everybody to think like you? You know, I was talking about it in the Chinese stream there. The Chinese subreddit that I always talk about, Chonglang. They're very anti-Chinese. I mean, these guys, I always say, I think they're joking a lot, but some of them are pretty serious. But, they're pretty cynical, pessimistic, but they got a great sense of humor, and I like their memes. I think some of their memes are pretty funny, and they're deep thinking too. They're deep thinking group. But still, they're so anti-Chinese, yet they wouldn't call into question the fact that 90% of Chinese people are Trump supporters. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter, you have to admit 90%, that's not a good ratio. Okay, that means something's wrong here. Okay, there should be a lot healthier ratio here. That doesn't seem healthy to me. All right. As someone who's socially left-wing and economically right-wing like you, Taiwan is beautiful for its free market and women's and LGBTQ rights. Cool. Nice. English is longer than Zhonglan, but keep going. This is good discussion. No. All right, we're going to end. This stream is going to end. Sorry, I didn't even realize it. We're about to end. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I hope I didn't miss any tips there with people that ask questions. I hate when I do that. Very revealing. Some Chinese people are the same to German Nazi or German. Oh yeah, that was the name. That was the name. Oh yeah, what about her? What about her? I know her. She interviewed me. Whoa, what? Of course I know. Dude, I was a Chinese studies major. I was a double major in commerce, Chinese major. Of course I know exactly what they did in the 40s and 60s. I never said, who said I was surprised? I'm surprised that I'm surprised that Xi Jinping's so dumb because it's going against his interests. Do you believe in the Chinese vaccine? No. Hell no. I would not get that, dude. I would not get that Chinese vaccinate. No more long-form content if you can make time. Oh, I will. Don't worry. I don't do a lot of streams. I like to do one a month because I don't want to dilute the product. I don't want to become like annoying and be like repeating the same shit all the time. It's accelerating the downturn of China. China has been working very hard to contain COVID. The U.S. greatly appreciate it. Sketchy Dustin is quoting Trump here. China's been working very hard to contain COVID. The U.S. greatly appreciates their efforts and transparency. It will all work out well. On behalf of the AM people, want to thank Xi. LOL. All right. I just mixed up. Yeah, the truth is that most Chinese people don't actually have an idea of what left and right is. They base it off their country's idea of left and right. I think it's also just a lot of people are really frustrated with life. And when they have like a fake enemy, like a baizuo, to be able to project their hatred towards, they feel in some way that they're like, contributing to trying to make this world better. They feel like they're doing something, Yeah, but they're just their hatred and their hatred and their fear is just being used, All right, guys. Until next time, I'm LeLeFarley. 我们下一次再见. Peace.